Hello, welcome to Tesla Physics. In this video I will speak a little bit about Morphic field and Morphic resonance. Actually about this I heard very recently. Mr. Rupert Sheldrake published this work back during 1980s. When I heard first time about this theory, I was fascinated because why I was fascinated was that I like this approach, that everything around us is in some kind of field which gives the shape of the things, of living creatures and so on. Another reason why I was fascinated that it gave me possible answer for some effect which I get in my work before, much before. In that time I didn't know how to explain this effect. With this theory it could be explained maybe easy. Let's say about morphic fields. During 2003 I work with geometry, with pyramids, and I try to repeat many experiments what other people did to treat some plants, chemicals, electronic components with pyramid. Then I noticed this, what wasn't planned. This plant was laid down like here, and I treat some seeds under this frame of pyramid. But after a few days, this plant recovered. If you can see, this plant was damaged here. That's why it lay down like here. After a few days, it recovered and directed to the corner of the pyramid, and when it came to the corner of pyramid, it started to rise up. It was really amazing for me, and it is evidence for me that there is some kind of radiation from the corner. Before 10 years ago, or maybe more, a friend of mine, Dusan Ninic, told to me and to other friends that he see that energy comes from angles, from the corners. This picture, is also evidence what he said. After that, I work with spirals like this. So the basic of the spiral was the triangle. This triangle I got by dividing 90 degrees with golden section ratio, and I got this triangle. Multiply these triangle, it creates the spiral. By accident again, I put there was a cap with seeds on above this paper, and about weeks after we noticed that the seed germinate much faster than seeds beside that. For me, it was completely unbelievable, and I made so many tests. It took me 1 year with thousands of tests with so many different spirals or triangles or different even pictures, which I tried to treat some plants, some seeds, and this is just one of them. This is control cap with where we try to see what will be germination time. This is the same spiral like I show, but the double one. It's like mirror version, so double. Like you can see in nature, very similar, so many of them. This one is not spiral, it is a circle divided with the golden ratio many times. So you can see differences in growing. I made this test by instinct, without any theory which to follow. When I heard for a morphic field, because around everything, living things or crystals, stones, they're spirals like vortexes. But these vortexes are not stable, they are moving. So if we put the seed has around it the vortex, because by this theory, and maybe when we put this, some kind of spiral like I did, maybe it amplifies this just this ratio. So theory was that maybe sum of angles or ratio is good for us, for living things, to grow up, to be treated, to be healthy, and thinking in that direction. Another aspect of Mr Rupert Sheldrake work is morphic resonance. Morphic resonance briefly is that everything in universe has evolution of habit, which means that some things or behavior by the time, by repeating, they are better and better and better. You can find in his work many explanations of it. For many of you who work with high voltage, with Tesla coils, with electrostatic machines and something similar, I'm sure that you notice that when you build, let's say, Tesla coil, in the beginning it doesn't work the best, but you want to how it works. But by the time it works better and better and perform much better than on the beginning. But also, if you leave Tesla coil beside for a while, let's say for half year, 1 year, and after they try to drive Tesla coil again, maybe of you, I am sure that you notice that it doesn't work properly again. So again, it needs to be time to be better and better. Back in 2007 and 2008, I worked with very high voltage, with electrostatic disc, like new kind of electromotor, and there was some very interesting effect which I noticed. It was platform for electrostatic motor. It is the terminals connected to high voltage, where I put disc on it. So when you apply the high voltage, or here you can see better. Let's say this one is 2 terminals. If we apply DC voltage plus minus and by conductive material and put the electric it will, when you apply high voltage, it will produce high speed of disk. So in that time I tried with small electrostatic machine like this one. Later we have much bigger. So like this one, it's very easy to make. It is common, simply plastic cap. Under it is PC fan. You can put on transparent CD disc, and it is brushes for pickup charge. So it was electrostatic machine. And with this electrostatic machine I tried to drive the same size electrostatic motor. First time I tried with only two terminals to drive, and I spent about 1 week without success, without positive result. I had I didn't get revolution. I didn't rotation of this disc. I tried to change something with electrostatic machine. I changed the shape of terminals, inductors. What I spent about 1 week, and then I add two more. So I tried with 4 terminals, and with 4 terminals I got very low rotation, about 40 RPM, which is nothing. After that I add 8. So I had 8 like this with inductors like this by cardboard, made by cardboard, and I got about 200 RPM with this one. So I made conclusion that bigger number of terminals gives much better rotation. But then I tried back with 4 terminals again. Before it was about 40 RPM, but now with 4 I got again about 200 RPM. Then I tried with only 2 terminals where it wasn't possible to get rotation at all. I got again 200 RPM. I was thinking that maybe by the time I made ions when charged, ionized air around, so, and in material, that it is a reason. Then after that I made, because it's easy to duplicate with simply material, I made completely new ones, and I made in another room, and again with 2 terminals I got 200 RPMs. So I was really confused. In the beginning, 2 terminals cannot get rotation, with 4 very low, with 8 200, and after that, in any case, in any time, with different configuration, I always get with any version 200 RPM. When I heard about morphic resonance, I realized that it could be that. By the time there was evolution of habit, and after that it works properly in any version. That's it. Thank you.